in the Book of Mormon, we find a pattern for preparing for the second coming. A major portion of the book centers on the few decades just prior to Christ's coming to America. By careful study of that time and period, we can determine why some were destroyed in the terrible judgments that preceded the coming, and what brought others to stand at the temple in the land of Bountiful and thrust their hands into the wounds of his hands and feet. From the Book of Mormon, we learn how disciples of Christ lived in times of war. From the Book of Mormon, we see the evils of secret combinations portrayed in graphic and chilling reality. In the Book of Mormon, we find lessons for dealing with persecution and apostasy. We learn much about how to do missionary work. And more than elsewhere, we see in the Book of Mormon, the dangers of materialism and setting our hearts on the things of the world. Can anyone doubt that this book was meant for us, and that it is that in it we find great power, great comfort, and great protection?
On Good Friday, President Russell M. Nelson, joined by other senior leaders, announced plans to renovate the historic Salt Lake Temple.
This project will enhance, refresh, and beautify the temple and its surrounding grounds.
Renovations will begin after the temple closes on December 29th of 2019.
A history-making week for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. An extensive renovation project now underway on Temple Square. On January 17th, the long-standing South Visitor Center raised to make way for construction equipment, excavation, and ultimately a new, open, and inviting look to the church's most iconic temple and its grounds.
As you may recall, Brigham Young himself was involved in great detail in the construction of the original temple foundation, which has served the temple well since its completion 127 years ago. The newly proposed seismic upgrade package for the temple would utilize base isolation technology, which was not even imagined at the time of its construction. This is considered the latest, most state-of-the-art engineering for earthquake protection. This technology, recent in its development, begins at the very foundation of the temple, providing a robust defense against damage from an earthquake. In essence, it structurally strengthens the temple to stand steadfast, even as the earth and environment around it undergo an earth-shaking seismic event. The temple renovation that would employ this technology was announced by the First Presidency last year. Under the direction of the presiding bishopric, construction commenced a few months ago in January. It is estimated to be completed in approximately 4 years.
as a people will become more united amidst increasing conflict. We will be gathered in the spiritual strength of groups and families filled with gospel light. Even an unbelieving world will recognize the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and realize that the power of God is upon it. President Nelson has designated this year as a bicentennial period commemorating 200 years since God the Father and his beloved Son, Jesus Christ, appeared to Joseph Smith in a vision. President Nelson invited us to make a personal plan to prepare ourselves for this historic conference, which commemoration, he said, would be a hinge point in the history of the church. And your part is vital, he said.